Alright, today I want to tell you about that time that I worked for Veldskoen Shoes. I'm telling this story because it's an experience that I've been wanting to share for a while, and I'm not telling it for the purposes to brag, maybe a little bit, but I'm also sharing this experience as something that I consider to be a success and also a failure on my part, and I'm hoping that maybe someone else can learn and maybe be inspired even from this story. Right, so how it started. I was working for a coffee shop for about 3 or 4 months, managing the social media, creating content for them, which allowed me to go from my Canon 450D, which just did photos, and to buy the Canon 200D that I'm still working with today, which I bought for the purpose of taking better photos, but also bought for the purpose of doing video. Now, I just worked for them and they paid me quite well. And this sparked in me an idea that I could actually do this. I could actually do a bit of social media management and content creation for other businesses, for other companies. And I didn't really know how to approach businesses. And so what had happened was I had a pair of leather shoes, not Veldskoen, but of Johnson leather shoes that I had gotten that year. And we decided to hike to a mountain the one day, and I took a photo of it, posted to my Instagram, tagged Johnson work shoes as well as Veldskoen. And I don't know if they thought it was one of their shoes or if they simply liked the photo, but what I know is that they liked it and they commented on it. And I messaged them back and I said, would you be interested in working together or having me do work for you? And surprise, surprise, they said yes. Now I must say, I wish I had more photos of my time there, but in the few times that I've been to the Veldskoen Shoes offices in Cape Town, they have a really cool work environment. It's a small working space, but it's divided up into 2 sections. It's the offices, which is like this collaborative working space. But there's also table tennis and other projects that they're working on, and just about 2 or 3 rooms further, it's their factory. Or rather their warehouse, where you can also buy shoes there. And they invited me, they said come through to the offices, and I went, and they said, well, we spoke for a bit and I said what I can do, and they said no, they just had this great boost from Ashton Kutcher promoting it in the USA, and they're all for, having young collaborators promote their brand. And I didn't expect to get a pair of shoes, but they said, well, what's your size? I said, size 12, and they had me pick the color, and I got my first pair of Veldskoen shoes. The blue, I think it's called the Jeffreys Bay, which is also quite special because I grew up nearby Jeffreys Bay, about 70 kilometers further east, in Port Elizabeth. And I had my first pair, and a month or 2 later, after creating a bit of content for them, taking photos, tagging them in my stories, longboarding with my fellies, I even did a video that I still shot on my iPhone 5 of me longboarding down a hill with my fellies on. And I presented a video ad concept to them, which didn't play out in the end. And after a month or 2, I said, well, my Veldskoen shoes are starting to wear out a bit. I would love to try your other pair of shoes. They have a Chelsea boot range, and they said yes, no problem, come through. And long story short, I in the end ended up getting like 3 different pairs of shoes from them. First of all, my first pair, the Jeffreys Bay, and then secondly my Chelsea boots, which I wore for a good 3 or 4 years, and that I'm currently actually having to replace the soles just because I wore them that much. And I also got a pair for Sencha, because they specifically have a range just for ladies, and it was a wonderful working experience. And why I say, and in that regard, that's why I call it a success. I was a young photographer. I still am, but I didn't know anything about social media promotion, social content creation, and yet they took me on and gave me 3 pairs of shoes. You know, I think if you would work it out, it's up to the value of 3,500 rand. And although they didn't pay me for my work, I learned a lot from my time with them and from being there. And you know, I had a few experiences, and now today I can say that when I approach other businesses or other product or other brand companies, I can say, listen, I did work for Veldskoen Shoes, I did work for so and so, and this is what I did. And because of that, would you want to take me on? The downfall of that is, like I said, I was young and I didn't know a lot. The mistake on my side was I didn't manage my relationship with Veldskoen Shoes as well as I could have. For me, I was very much engaged, or enamored rather, by the experience of, wow, I'm getting this free stuff, and I was so focused on what I was getting for free that I didn't focus that much on what they actually expected from me. And I never got an email from them or message saying, oh, you know, listen, we need you to do more of this, more of that, more of that. I mean, they gave me free reign. But when I approached them a few months later, a few months after me not doing anything about an idea that I had, I just did not get a reply. Now, by that stage, they also had gotten a lot busier, and I understand that the bigger a company gets, the more difficult it becomes to really respond to individuals' messages. But I see they were doing collaborations with obviously bigger creators and different brands and whatnot. And I think that if I had maintained that relationship, I maybe would have gotten to a point where I was doing work, where I would have been doing work for them on a regular basis. I'm not saying this is definite, but I'm saying that I think it would have been a possibility. Now, the lesson that I learned out of this was firstly to have a structure in your work. You can't just approach a company and say, listen, can you give me something for free, and then I'll do something for you. Often what they give to you for free, and to be honest, I made the same mistake a month or two later, because I did work for Surfruit as well. They gave me a whole bag of, you know, Surfruit juices and a hoodie and everything, and I did a few posts, but I was so enamored by what I got for free that I didn't structure my work in a way that was really advantageous to them. And you know, relaying that back to me wanting to approach them a year or two later, they look at what I did for them before and what they put into me before, and I think they just said, listen, it's not worth it. So first of all, I would like to say to anyone who has not done work for a business before or for a company before, and they want to approach a brand and try that kind of work, first of all, I want to say, go for it. Take that risk. I've been surprised at who I have done work for and the kind of work that I have done. There's a lot of opportunities that I did not think I would get, and that I didn't even plan for, that I did get and that I was able to do. But with that, I want to warn you to have a structure, not just go to them and say, listen, give me this and I'll do this for you. Rather approach them in the way of, listen, I want to work with you because I actually enjoy a brand, and mean it. Don't just approach every second company and say, listen, I love your brand, I love your brand, I love your brand. Because if you don't truly love it, you won't put the effort into it, and you will never feel satisfied with the work that you're doing. Approach companies that you truly do enjoy. But when you do, have that structure. Be ready to answer their questions. Like if they want to ask you, look, what are you going to do over the next 3-4 months? Tell them, look, I'm willing to do X, Y, and Z. I'm willing to maybe do this for free, and if the discussions come to a point where they even want to support you financially or pay you for the work that you've done, also have that in place. Rather than just making things up as you go along and looking unprofessional in your work. But in summary, it was a really cool time that I had with them. I still have, Sentia still has her one pair of Veldskoen shoes. I still have my pair that, as I said, I'm busy fixing up. And I use that experience in working for them, or rather doing work for them, because they never paid me. They remunerated me in the products that they gave me for free. What I learned in my time working for them, I now apply to other businesses, and there's sometimes that I'd even rather not approach a business because I know that at this point in time I'm not equipped to fully attend to their needs make promises that I can't deliver to. So young photographers or young content creators, use this as encouragement that it is possible to just contact a company or simply make a post and have them contact you, or have you contact them and them go, look, we like your work, please do something for us. But at the same time, just be warned that you also need to be prepared. It's not just, look how great I am and I'm getting all this free stuff and that's about it. It's about creating something that maybe creates a relationship that gets sustained over longer than just that initial first 3 months or that first year even. Try and create something that will, I don't want to say outlast you, but try and create something that lasts for a year, for 2 years, however long you want to work for them. There's a lot of amazing stories out there of people who just in the way they got to know the company on a personal level, on a friendship level, got to a point where they even worked for them on a permanent basis, having a salary and getting all the other benefits that comes with having a normal job.